Right. So number 1, rational numbers are listed and then irrational numbers listed. Okay, number 2 says, yeah?
Irrational numbers based in math error.
Not always, because pi, it doesn't give you math error. It's just a very long decimal. So if you would look at this picture right in the beginning on page 4, this one, you will see that under irrational falls your surds. That's why the cube root of 15 is in there. That doesn't give me a whole number as an answer. Okay, so that's why that falls under surds. And irrational numbers are also non-terminating, meaning it goes on and on and on and on and on. Non-recurring decimals. So the decimals that are given, which is a lot, are not repeating numbers. It's different numbers every time. Okay, so non-recurring, non-terminating decimals. And I specifically said pi is usually the first one that you can pick out there. And that's also the one that they usually ask. Okay, yes? Martha?
So by each of them, do we only have to write one?
There were more than one option, and then you could also have used a number more than once at the questions as well. So I'm getting to 2 now. So when we get to that specific number, just ask if I didn't say something about it. Okay, so number 2. They said, given the list of numbers, write down a prime number. Now, before we do that, let's just quickly go back and say, what are prime numbers? Now, you've got to think back to grade 8. Yes.
The prime number is a number that can't be like divided over.
It only has 2 factors. What are those 2 factors? 1 and itself. Okay. So examples of prime numbers would be, is 1 a prime number? No. Okay. So a prime number would be 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and I'm not going to go further than that. But all of those numbers, the only thing that can divide into that is 1 and itself. So it's only got 2 factors. Okay, right. So over here, the prime number I said was 5. Did you guys have anything else there? 7? Was 7 good? Ah, no, you guys, that was minus 7,7. Oh, you must read. Did you guys see that? Look at the commas, eh? Okay. At B, an irrational number. Now, irrational number I said would be square root of 35. Because that doesn't give me a whole number, no? It gives me a decimal. You guys find that? Okay, C, a factor of 32. Now, what do I mean when I say a factor of 32? It means it's got to be able to divide into 32 without having a remainder. That's what a factor is, right? Okay, so a factor of 32 would be 8. 8 can divide into 32. Okay, D, a square number. That would be 36. Then an unreal number, or basically a non-real or imaginary, no? A non-real number would be square root of -6, because if we put that into our calculator, it gives me math error. So it's impossible. It can't happen. Yeah.
And we weren't allowed to use numbers more than one.
You could.
So would 8 also be a square number?
No. 8 is not a square number. Remember, not yesterday, the day before, we said a square number would be, if I take the same 2 numbers and multiply it, I get that as an answer. Meaning 36 would be a square number, because 6 times 6 gave me 36. 25 was a square number, because 5 times 5 gave me 25. Okay. But to get 8, I'd have to multiply, let's say, 4 times 2, so it's not the same number. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Anyone else? You guys good? Did you guys have any other options here at number 2? Good. Okay, so next one. Number 3. 3 says classify each number below as an integer, a fraction, a mixed number, or a decimal number. Okay, so A would be a fraction. B would be a decimal. C is an integer. D is a mixed number. E again a fraction. F and G both decimals. And H is a mixed number. Oh, that's on the next page. Okay. Everyone fine here? Yeah?
Now, I have a question. When we doing activities, after every question, do we have to leave the spaces?
Like after question 3.
No, like 1A and space.
Oh, you don't have to, no. It's that I'm not that specific about. It's your book, as long as you can see what's going on and it makes sense. Okay, and you still write on the left-hand side and not left-hand. Then I'm fine. Okay, can I skip? Anyone still copying here? Okay, then I was an integer, J was a fraction, K decimal, and L a mixed number. Right. Now at 4, they asked me to write each of the rational numbers below as a common fraction in its simplest form. So you had to go and cancel out. Okay? Or for those of you that cheated, you use the calculator, but it specifically said without the use of a calculator. Okay.
How are they going to know if you use a calculator?
In this case, they wouldn't, but you will see in the
No,
test.
you do ask your calculations and things.
Yes. Yeah. And I did teach you guys that last year. For those that weren't in my class, whenever they say without the use of a calculator, it actually means show me every single step. Okay. You can use your calculator to go and double check because there's no test this year that you're going to take without being allowed a calculator with you. You're always going to have a calculator. So you can go back and double check. It's just you can't skip directly to the answer. You've got to show me how you got there. Show me your steps. Write those out because that's where you're going to get your marks. If there would have been 1 or 2 steps and you skipped directly to the answer, even though the answer is correct, if it says without a calculator, you get 0. Because he didn't show any steps, so I assume you used a calculator. Okay. Right. So at 4a, that would be simplified to 5 over 6. B, we would simplify that to negative 3 over 5. Can I skip? Hands up, we're still copying? Okay, tell me when you're done. Done. Okay. C, I first had to write that mixed number as an improper fraction, so I made that 85 over 40, and that would be 17 over 8. Or maybe some of you said 2 and 1 over 8. That would still be correct. Okay, it didn't state specifically that you had to make it a mixed, an improper fraction. Okay, then D, same thing. If you made it an improper fraction and then simplified, it would have been minus 57 over 8. Or you would have had minus 7 and 1 over 8. Okay, you guys good there? At number 5, I made an improper fraction and then simplified to get 23 over 4. But it could have been that you said 3 and a half. Is that what it was there? Oh, not 3 and a half, 7 and a half, sorry. Yeah, 6, 12, 18, 7, 20. 5 and 3/4, sorry. 5 and 3/4, sorry. You guys good with that? Okay, F, simplified would give you a half. Any questions there? Okay. Then number 5 says, write the following mixed numbers as improper fractions. So over here, we said we're going to take the whole number and multiply it with the denominator. So minus 6 times 9, and then we add the 4, which was the numerator. So that should give you minus 58 over 9. Yes. That's then probably in the Afrikaans book. Okay, so you guys will then just have 58 over 9. Okay. Sorry. Sometimes the Afrikaans and the English book differ. Okay, at B, it was minus 5 over 6. And that would give you minus 29 over 6. At C, minus 11 and 2/3. I'm going to take the minus 11 times it by 3, the denominator, and add the numerator, which was 2. And that gives me minus 35 over 3. And the last one, D, 13 and 7 over 15 would give me 202 over 15. Okay. Any questions? Right. Can I skip? Okay. So let's just quickly talk about inverse operations. What does the word inverse mean? It means opposite. Right. Okay. So what would the inverse operation of a plus be, or addition? It would be subtraction, minus. The inverse operation of multiplication would be division. Yo, can you guys see the dot with the division? Okay. Sorry? Okay. But as long as you know, multiplication and division. Okay. Now, just wording, because you're going to need that in the homework. The sum of means that we are going to add. No? Still chapter 1. Okay. Then, when they say the difference between the first and the second term, the word difference means that we have got to subtract or minus. Okay. When they say the product of term 1 and term 2, it means we have got to go and multiply. Okay. Then the last one, quotient, means that we are dividing. Okay. Okay, obviously, when they say less than, let's say it's 3 less than this number, then we're going to minus. I didn't write that down because I think most of you know that. And if I say, I have got 5 more than she does, then I'm going to add to that amount. No. Okay. Can I skip? Okay. Now, sorry, just give me a second. I want to quickly double check something. Okay. I am going to stop there. I want to quickly just run through. Do you guys still remember BODMAS? Okay. Okay. What does the B stand for? Brackets. The O of D, division, M, multiplication, A, addition, and S, subtraction. Okay, so please remember that that is the order of your calculations that we have got to follow. Now, yesterday you guys did number 1 up until 4. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we're going to do the rest of that exercise, but just give me a second. Wait. Number 5, it just says, say whether the following statements are true or false. Then they give you a statement. Read through. That is now again on rational and irrational. Okay? Number 6, 7, and 8. I think I'm going to leave out because what they want you to do there is just normal adding and division and multiplication. But they want you to use the long method. And I'm not going to let you do that because you're high school, right? So only number 5 And what you guys are going to do is you're going to start with that now, while I quickly write down number 1 up until 4. By the time I'm finished writing, you should definitely be finished with those 4 statements, and then we can mark that as well. So it's not homework, it's now classwork. Okay?